And we are on.
Fucking checker.
Check. We are on.
Killer.
This one is... I was actually really excited for this one because... you added me on Instagram, I think, and then I didn't look at the page for a couple of days, and then I looked at the page and I was like, why is this guy not fucking got 300,000 followers, eh? You do some gnarly shit.
It was super funny because I had a look on like Instagram after the Peeps and Rebens one, so I was just checking you out, having a go. I was like, oh man, I liked your Instagram. I was just like at work listening to one of your podcasts. Just got Instagram, like having a bit of a write, and then like boom, like I get an inbox from you. You're like, man, my hands are sweating.
Oh man, but for people who don't know, just give them a little rundown of like, is it your hobby? Is that your job? It's not. It's partly your job.
Well, yeah, like weekend sort of hobby still. So I'm a Tandem skydive instructor. I am a AFF solo skydiving instructor, free fly coach, wingsuit pilot. And then for the last few years, I've just been traveling the most beautiful places around the world base jumping. So got to experience a lot of life lately.
And it's Vince.
Yeah,
Vince Jarvis.
Vince Jarvis, yep.
And oh my God, so you said you started at 21.
Yep.
Which is probably like a pretty, I don't know, it's one of those things that it's like not everyone's going to try it. So it's just psychos like you that can get good at it really. Because I've never been.
It was like, I pretty much did the same as most people. I went and did a tandem one weekend, like a lot of people do, and was just like, holy shit, what is this world, you know? Called all my mates up and said, you all need to experience this. I just had the best experience of my whole entire life. So got a few mates, booked in again a couple of weekends later. And I remember as soon as I landed from that second one, I was just like, yep, like.
So how do you take the plunge from just skydiving to starting to do some of the gnarlier shit, like wingsuiting and base jumping? And
well, at the start it was never like the plan, because this was sort of like 11, 12 years ago, right? So YouTube wasn't popping off hard then. Hadn't seen too much of it, you know. There's a lot of people who get into skydiving now purely to do the wingsuiting because they see so much, you know, on YouTube or the gram sort of thing. So I just did, like I said, that first jump. I walked around the drop zone afterwards, just like hassling people. I was like, how do you pack the parachute? Like, what's the deal with this? You know, where did you all start? Just got super interested in chatting. And one of the dudes, like Vernon, which I'm very good friends with still today, he goes, mate, if you're interested, in a couple of weeks, we're doing a solo course, you know, out at Langhorne Creek. Come on down if you're interested. It's like a 9-jump program. We run you through everything, hold on to you. If you're keen, you know, just give us a call. And I remember like the next day at work, standing on top of my dump truck, trying to get some reception, trying to book in for this course. Cause I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is sick.
And so I imagine when you're learning, you're always jumping with someone, but is the feeling similar when you make that first jump by yourself, the same feeling when you get your P's?
Yeah, for sure.
Because you know that feel like when you get your L's, it's cool that you're driving, but the day you get your P's and you go out in your own car and you're like, fuck, it's such a cool day.
Yeah, for sure. So you do your first jump and you're held onto by 2 instructors, right? So they don't do anything that they don't deem you, you know, able to do. So there's a certain criteria of jumps, but I still remember so clearly as if it was yesterday. The first time, like we did through the jumps, I deployed and I'm just up there flying around by myself. And I just remember just like screaming out and just stoked. I'm like, who the fuck let me do this by myself? And yeah. It was just full froth. So obviously, like back to your question, there was no like, I'm in this for wingsuiting, I'm into this to do this. It was purely like, I just want to go and experience this solo skydiving. And there's so much in the skydive world that you can do and achieve, you know. There's so many different disciplines sort of thing. So when you do a tandem, it's like that belly to earth. That's the most stock standard sort of jump you can do. And then you can go through like all your belly jumps, and then you go to like free flying, which is kind of what our specialty is in. So it's like either flying head up in like a sit position or in a stand, and then once you get quite good, you can then transition and then start flying on your head.
Really? Oh, so like spearing down.
Yeah, so super things, and that's one of the most difficult sort of ones to go.
Why is it like a gravity thing? Is it just learning how to do? Like, what's it? Because I imagine in my head, you jump out of a plane, you'd be able to move around pretty freely, but when you're falling, obviously you can't.
Yeah, it's just trying to displace that air that you're, you know, manipulate that air to try and put yourself in the right position. Like it's hard to get like stable in your belly. Because imagine throwing like a piece of paper out, it would just go out of control. So you have to have that perfect nice arch, all that body position to be able to fall, you know, straight down the tube is what we say, you know. And then after a while to try and learn in a sit position, incredibly hard, you know, hundreds of jumps to try and work that out. And then
really,
yeah, for sure.
Just sit down.
Yeah.
No shit.
You
There's way more to it than you'd think.
Oh, for sure. And that's how I just like got in love with skydiving, because I was just like, oh, this is a difficult sport. This is hard to do. So it was like mega jumps to try and work that out. Back when I started, do you know about indoor skydiving, like wind tunnel flying?
Yes, I've seen that. I've seen that in Queensland, I believe.
Yeah. So when I started, there was only one tunnel, like in Penrith, and they were charging about $1,500 for 1 hour's flight time. You know,
Really?
Yeah. So, but that's like a skydive goes for probably like a minute if you're on your belly, down to like, you know, 40 seconds kind of if you're in that sit or head down position. So if you can do an hour in the tunnel, you know, you're doing like 70, 80 skydives kind of in a day. You can do an hour's tunnel, and the coach is right there in your face doing 2 minutes. So you're doing 2 skydives. He's teaching you how to do it. You jump out the tunnel. He's like, oh, cool, change this, move your head, move your leg, and you just jump straight back in. So the progression's just out of control.
Yeah.
And that's where the start of my traveling sort of started, because it was so expensive in Australia, because we only had that one tunnel, that if you were going to do more than like 2 hours, you could fly to anywhere in the world, because the tunnels were over there already established, ready to go, and like half the price. So if you did a couple of hours, you can get a free trip to anywhere you want in the world to go and do tunnel.
So what's the biggest country for skydiving?
Like Europe and America, for sure. They're the ones that are places. Their drop zones are massive, you know. America's got some drop zones where they have like 5, 6 aircraft at the time, like running on these drop zones. They have events that we call like boogies, where they actually organise everyone to come, bring in big planes, and there could be mega hundreds of skydivers in the drop zones trying to jump at once.
No shit.
Yeah.
And so like, what's the height limit that you're allowed to legally skydive from?
So 15,000 feet
is the top.
Is the top. Unless you got oxygen. So anything higher than 15,000 feet, you start to
Hooked
get
up to you?
Yeah, in the plane, they kind of have like tubes
So you
in
don't
America.
black out or something?
Yeah, just so you can suck in a bit of oxygen as you go. You can get like hypoxia, is where you just start losing a bit of oxygen in the blood while you're jumping. So pretty much everything in Australia is only 15,000. I've been to 16.5, but we had like a jet turbine engine. We got up there a little bit quicker. But yeah, pretty much like 15's the limit sort of thing. Unless you're doing like, in America, they do big like multiple plane jumps, you know, they might do 50, 100 ways, 200 ways and stuff, and then all those planes are fitted with like oxygen tubes for the boys to jump with.
No shit. It makes you think, like, I remember when I was a kid, a lot of people probably wouldn't even remember this that listen to this podcast. Red Bull did like a fucking thing where they sent a dude to the like edge of Earth.
Yeah, Felix Boredom helmet or whatever.
In a fucking hot air balloon. And I remember just watching him for like 4 hours ascend, and I was like, this cunt's gonna die. This cunt's gonna die.
For a second, he like starts spinning out of control, and they're like, good luck.
That's like, is that next level for you?
Oh, for sure. Like,
because if you're gonna die, you're gonna die at 8,000 feet anyway.
Yeah,
like if something goes wrong.
Yeah, potentially, you know. But like, I think the biggest problem there was if he blacked out and like didn't come to. But like, again, we have like this. We have our automatic activation device fitted to all our stuff. So like at last minute, if he was unconscious, it would have fired a reserve or a parachute out for him. So. But no one's done that shit before, so who knows what the fuck's going to happen, you know?
Yeah, that was crazy. And it took him like 4 minutes to fall.
Yeah.
Which is fucking a long time. So an average one's about a minute.
Yeah.
At 15,000 feet.
Yeah, that's if you're like belly to earth. Yeah.
The slowest, that's the slowest
you can go, yeah.
Really?
Even then, we're doing about like, when I take tandems, most of the jumps are probably for 15,000 feet, you know, about 60 seconds. And we're doing about 220 kilometers an hour.
How much are you... For how long are you falling, and for how long is the parachute
up? Like 15,000, about 60 seconds in free fall, and then probably about like 6 minutes on the parachute. So back on the ground in about 7 minutes.
Oh, so the parachute takes 6 minutes?
Yeah, it takes about 6 minutes to get down, you know.
Is that like the boring part for you now?
No, not really. Like if it's tandems, it's awesome because you get to like give the passenger a bit more of a calming experience afterwards, because it's just like, if they've never done it before, they've gone from like shitting themselves in the plane to like a minute of like
frantic
shit.
oh
Yes and no, man. It's skydiving is the most calmest thing
Yeah.
ever. Like, you know, it's hard to explain this to the passengers when they're going up. If they're freaking out, I have to give them like a little bit more of a, you'll be sweet, it's all good, but like, I can't explain to you what's about to happen. It's going to be very intense for a while, but about halfway through, you're going to be like, everything's calm, everything's sweet. You're not thinking about anything else but what's in the moment, you know? And then when they open up, just every single person just goes, that was the best thing I've ever done in my life. And that's the best thing about taking for tandems, is people just like are so appreciative of the jump. And then we get to fly around for a while, and we can talk to each other, just how we are now. We can give them the toggles of the parachute to fly around, and I just like, you know, go with them and talk to them and stuff. And like, yeah, it's all time.
The parachute bit freaks me out more than the jumping out the plane.
You reckon?
Bit. Yeah, 100%. I don't know how I'd go. I don't know how I'd fucking go.
Yeah.
I'd love to find out. I'm gonna do it. We'll do it. We'll do it.
For sure.
I'll record it. It'll be funny.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So I run with a hand cam pretty much on every jump. So we got footage of all around and things, and you can get outside camera flies as well. So you can get another like professional skydiver to come and fly around and get some real cool
That's
footage.
sick.
Yeah.
That is sick. So what was the moment where you're like, oh, I want to go try some crazy shit?
Some crazy shit.
It makes my feet sweaty.
Yeah. So I jumped for probably like 6 years at this point in time, and I had some friends at the drop zone who were just in that, like, they'd be jumping for quite some time, and they were all transitioning into that stage, because after a while you're like, you get really good at all the disciplines and stuff, and now you start just like having a look around and stuff, and you see other people, you know, at the drop zone. Back in the day, base jumping was pretty, like, not frowned upon, but like it was hard to talk to people around the drop zone stuff. Anyone who did it kept a bit of a hush about it, because in Australia, obviously, we're not allowed to be jumping off anything here. We're a pretty flat country, so there's not a lot of stuff to jump off. So whatever we are having a look at, it's pretty, you know, middle of the night, bit of bandit sort of stuff. So it's hard to get any info about people doing anything. But had one of my mates, Ryan, went down to his caravan after like jumping. He got to the DZ like real quite late at night. Got chatting and stuff, and he was telling me about some base jumping stuff. I was like, man, when's the last time you did a base jump? That's pretty wild. Yeah, man, he looks at his watch and he goes, about a fucking hour and a half ago. And I was just like, had no idea, you know. Showed me some footage of it, and from then on, I was like, where, how? Show me. Let's go. Yeah.
And it's illegal?
Yeah, it's illegal here, because like everything, there's not too much to jump off, but clearly we don't have any like super high cliffs or everything we're jumping off of. So BASE actually stands for Building, Antenna, Span and Earth. All right, so it's an acronym for those things. So what sort of buildings, antennas, you know, earth, you know, or spans, which is like, you know, bridges, dams. Think of anything like that we're legally allowed to be on. Yeah. So most of the stuff that we do around here, if there is anything, is like, it's banned at night time, so no one knows about it. So,
have you ever skydived at night?
Yeah.
Is that a different experience?
For sure. Yeah.
Is it scarier?
Yeah, it's scarier.
It's almost like you're jumping into the ocean. Like, you probably wouldn't be able to fucking see anything.
Man, like, did it at a place called Toogs. We had to go sit in like a room for like 45 minutes, like at the end of a day of jumping already. Get like, you know, your eyes used to being in the dark. You can get a whole crest, like you have to do a multiple amount of jumps to get a crest, so you're actually like night rated sort of thing.
Okay.
But I remember we were at this like a super caravan. It's like a massive plane turboprop, holds like 18 people, and it's like planes in the dark, and it's this big flashing red light, and you're just like, I'm fucking going to war. Like that's what it felt like, man.
It was like you'd be like going into a foreign country.
Holy shit, man. Big roller door opens, and I just remember clearly just running out, like laying out a big like gainer out the back of the plane, and just watching this plane in the dark just
like a movie.
Just disappear instantly. That red light just gone. I was like, holy fuck, you know. Flip around, get in your belly, try and get your, you know, your place where you are. You kind of do it at a bit of a lower altitude, so you don't have a chance to get lost. And then you could just see this massive light at the drop zone. Big floodlight for you to come into land. And this was at the end of a massive day, excuse me, massive day of jumping. So everyone's already out the front on the beers, like ready to go. So they're just cheering everyone on. So you come in this big, massive swoop landing, slide in across the grass, and there's, you know, like 100 people just like, yeah, it's going nuts. Just like, what is this going on here? So,
that'd be
cool.
Have you? Is it so? It's obviously a bit more difficult to jump at night.
Yeah.
Do you jump in the rain and shit?
Yeah, like
weather permitting, wind's probably the most important factor.
Wind's definitely the biggest thing that stops us when we're jumping. Yeah, wind. So we got a bit of a wind limit that we don't really go past. But like through winter, we still want to jump. In winter, the air is actually the cleanest and nicest to jump through. It's a little bit refreshing. Yeah, it's more dense. It's better for the body to fly. It's better for the parachutes. Like
a day like today would suck, eh?
Yeah, like just on the weekend, just gone. Like I did on Saturday. We tried to jump and we came down in the plane because it was just like hot, windy, gross.
Yeah.
Guys on the ground were like, bring it down, man. It's like, it's not worth jumping. We had to land the plane with 6 people inside, which is what we're not used to doing as skydivers. We'd all rather get out. If I had my own parachute, I would have got out, you know, but it was just a bit gross. And then Sunday I ended up doing 6 back-to-back jumps in the heat, and it was just like, draining. Tiring, hard to fly the parachutes, you know, you're just like always so cautious on when the winds or gusts and stuff, so you're just mentally just on the ball so hard, just making sure everything's good to go.
Back to when you were saying that you felt like you were going to war, it makes you think, how fucking good are the jumpers in the military?
Yeah.
Like the special ops, or like they would have to land and go through, because it doesn't matter what the fucking wind is.
Nah, you're going.
Like you are going, and if fucking you might land in the middle of the fucking ocean, like
they're carrying all their gear. They're carrying like dogs strapped onto it, man. You got imagine like back in the day, you're just getting out like, what a target to shoot.
Oh, dude, it's fucking crazy. And so, do you still get like the anxiety from it, or is it just like you don't have that anxiety obviously leading up to it or anything
like
anymore?
Not a standard jump, but if I'm doing like a formation jump sort of thing, and we've got a bit
that's where there's multiple people.
Yeah, multiple people, right? So it's pretty rare that I ever do a skydive alone. Like if I do, it's like a low height jump where I'm just getting out by myself and I'll just practice my landing or something. But other than that, we're always jumping with, 2, 3, multiple people, So if we've got like a routine that we've organised where we need to get out, it's kind of like a bit of a dance, man, like a bit of a ballet dance where you're like, I'm going to fly to this slot, grab your hand, head down, then I'm going to transition to my feet, where we're going to fly around in a circle, and then we're going to pick up grips again, So we've got a full routine that we're going to try and fly to. Those jumps, I'm nervous that I want to like perform. So I get a bit nervous, like, am I going to be able to fly to that spot? Am I going to pick it up, And like most of the time you try and fly with people who are better than you, ideally, because that's how you're going to build your skills. So every year I would go to like drop zones all around Australia, go on like camps or boogies sort of thing, as I say, like where everyone comes in from all around the place. And you might have a coach for a day and you'll do 6 or 7 jumps in the day, And that's sort of like a skills building camp, so you get better at like the jumps that you're doing. And then boogies are more about going to a drop zone and just having a sick time, doing the jumps that you're already good at.
I was so confused when you sent me that. I was like, what the fuck's a boogie?
Yeah.
It was like, I didn't know what was going on, but it just looked like a group of people doing cool shit and just getting loose.
Yeah. So it's like a big event, and we've got one in Adelaide coming up next month called Revive, so people are going to fly in from around Australia. Don't quote me on how many people, spend like 150 people around the place.
No shit.
Get a massive plane in
Where
and stuff.
Where do you do it?
This one's going to be at Lower Light.
Oh, nice.
Yep. And then last year's one was run out at Langhorne Creek, and that's where I learned to skydive, Langhorne Creek.
Where's the best spots in Australia to do it? As Blue Mountains would be fucking, there'd be some shit there.
Yeah,
I used to live there.
Sure. Yeah. I've heard about that. So, back to when I did my first sort of like season of base jumping, went to Europe, did all that whole learning, and then as soon as I got back, the boys come and said me, we've got a little bit of event in the Blueies. There's a few jumps there to go, and if you're interested, like you've got a slot to come on. So
that'd be some cool scenery.
Holy shit, bro! Like super gnarly. Like everywhere around the world, like Aussies are known for. Like if you're an Aussie base jumper and you're jumping in like Aussie shit, like
there's no margin for error, really.
There's no margin for error. Like we're jumping super low shit, taking everything right to the basement, which is like trying to take it as low as can so you can try and get a bit of free fall time in. And it's more about the landing areas. Like, we don't have landing areas. Like,
Yeah.
you go to Europe and there's just open, beautiful fields and paddocks, and, you know, and it's just like, it's mountain skydiving over there.
You got to try and land on the softest rock,
Yeah.
and you got to make sure there's not a fucking brown snake.
Yeah. No, you're bashing into the biggest rock, and if you get up, everyone just cheers.
The blue, and for people who've never left Australia, like the Blue Mountains, they look impressive, but they are fucking tiny.
Yeah.
Compared to some shit around the world. When I went to Mount Fuji last year, I was like,
Oh, real mountains?
Jesus fucking Christ. I've never been to Uluru.
Yeah.
But I don't even know how big Uluru is. It would fucking be nothing compared. Mount Fuji's so big.
I've skydived over Uluru.
Did you?
Yeah.
I was going to just say, thought you were just going to say you base jumped off. I was like, that sounds illegal.
Yeah, no, we skydived, like, not totally over it, but next to it. Like, there's a
That'd be weird. You just see like a sea of red.
Oh, man. Like, we were on a big road trip up to Darwin to this event, and one of the dudes we were going with had done some tandem operations there. So we popped into this place just to say hello. He's like, we've got a bit of time if you always want to take the plane out for a bit of a lob. So I remember just get out, like, flying, like I was leading a jump. So I was like belly to earth, but like tracking sort of on an angle, like a movement jump. And then it was just like 5 of my friends next to me. So I'm just flying along, and we're just like pointing. We're like, look over there. And everyone just turns at the same time, and just like see the rock just going past as we're flying. It was like, whoa.
You don't hear many accidents of these people. Oh, they probably don't put it on the news. I'm sure there's tons.
Yeah.
But like, have you seen, because when shit goes wrong in these situations, you die.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Surely. Like, it would have to be at least 95% of the time.
Yeah. Like, forever I would tell people, like, once I started base jumping, I would tell people skydiving's super safe. It's super safe sport. You know, we're jumping so.
What makes base jumping? Is it because you have less margin for error because you have to pull the parachute at the correct time, etc.?
Yeah. So base jumping is because we're jumping such low altitude jumps. We're deploying so low to the ground. We're flying terrain, which is like very close to the flight that you're flying, and there's just a lot of room for error, you know.
Yeah, and or that video of you jumping off that waterfall, the one where you're going faster than the fucking water down the waterfall.
Yeah.
That's like that's pretty. You'd have to make sure you jump fucking far.
Yeah, that jump in particular, I remember, like, when it rolled into my back, look at the waterfall, and as I was falling, I was just like, oh fuck, hell, brain fart, man, because the waterfall was like a photograph.
Yeah.
Because we're falling at the same speed for a while, and I looked out, I was like, oh, that looks a bit, oh, I must be scared. Roll over and track away, and it wasn't until later I was like, oh yeah, falling together, you know, it must be pretty gnarly.
That's fucking
But back to
crazy.
your question of, like, I would tell people skydiving is super safe because, like, it was the amount of skydives get done, the amount of tandems that get done, and the small amount of incidents that happen. I was like, nah, sweet, skydiving's pretty safe. And then after a while, I've been involved in the sport a long time, and now I'm an instructor, and I see all the incidents, and we get a big report when anything does happen, report on how it happened, conditions and stuff, so we can all learn. Because in this sport, if someone fucks up, man, you need to learn from their mistake because you don't have time to learn it yourself.
Yeah, it's fucking no, bro. It's the only other thing that wingsuiting's probably the most hectic
For sure.
In your field, but I feel the most hectic thing, and I just can't comprehend it, is what we were talking about before, like Alex Honnold.
Yeah.
Like, his shit is so fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
There is no one as gnarly as that.
Yeah, for sure.
He's just... Like, if he was climbing it with a parachute, that makes it 500 times better. Because
Yeah.
he would have some chance.
For sure, yeah.
Past 15 meters, you're dead. Like, it doesn't take that much.
He's been gifted with the touch of the tism, though.
Oh,
Like,
bro. You need... So you
Like-
definitely... You fucking would need to be severely autistic to
Yeah.
be good at that.
Like, I guarantee I'm more scared on base jumps than he is climbing that wall. No
But
fucking doubt.
you said it. You actually said the exact same thing as him before. You said skydiving is the most calm thing in the world because if shit goes wrong, like, shit's not meant to go wrong.
No.
That's what he says. He's like, climbing to me is fucking awesome because nothing goes wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I make sure nothing goes. If you're wigging out
There's a reason.
500 meters up on hanging on a piece of paper,
Yeah.
you're dead.
Yeah.
And it's just fucking spins me out.
If there's ever a, like, shit, like, say, I would say, like, I don't know, I'm making figures up here, but say 80% of people who hurt themselves severely or die skydiving are under a fully working, functioning parachute. That's them fucking up last minute.
Really?
You know? Yeah. So as you get a little bit better at skydiving, we're talking solo skydiving here, right? So tandem, big parachutes, very casual. So solo skydiving, the better you get, the smaller parachute you get, the faster you go.
That means you go faster.
Yeah. Same thing as like you're racing, you know, you want to buy a fast car, bigger turbos, you know. And then, of course, we're like not doing a danger enough sport as it is. So what we do is we start swooping, right? So we start putting these parachutes back into free fall for the last, you know, like 15 seconds of the jump. Start spiraling at the ground.
That's fucking stupidity.
To generate as much speed as you can. And then last minute, like...
Before put the brakes on.
Not put the brakes on. Like plane out as if like a plane's coming to land and use all that speed you've generated to then like swoop across the ground as fast and as long as physically possible.
That's a thing.
Oh, it's the best thing.
That you do that?
Yeah,
You've done that?
Yeah, for sure.
Can you send me a video of it?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I'll make
I'd love
that.
to.
That's fucking so... So let me just get this picture in my head. You jump out the plane, you activate or you'll pull your parachute, and then you'll purposely not use your parachute until you're gonna die.
So open the parachute,
so
get set up.
How many feet? Like, what's the optimal? Is it the closer to the ground you get, the bigger flex?
Well, like the whole thing is to drag sort of across the ground, and then like once you get into competition swooping or like big time shit, we start jumping over ponds as well, because that sort of like takes a bit of the risk out for people.
Kind of push the
and if you
envelope
fuck a little bit and you're slapping in the pond, you're not gonna
break your fucking collarbone.
Yeah, you're not fucking going in the body bag sort of thing. So, but yeah, like as you get smaller things, bigger turns, you know, like, and then just more speed across the ground. So we're already doing this super dangerous sport. We open up, cool, parachute, sweet, I'm alive, I've survived. Let's go again, you know. The jump's not over until you're on the ground. So like, then it's like not only just the free fall you get to enjoy, but the whole parachute ride, the landing and stuff, and you get to go. So like as you go smaller, you know, like a tandem parachute's like 320 square feet, you know, and then the parachute I jump's like 90, you know, which is like kind of bit of a bed sheet, but still kind of large compared to the people that are jumping, you know, down to like 60 square feet parachutes as big as this table, smaller than this table, bro.
That's like army shit, isn't it?
Yeah. But like I always think about like these guys in the military jumping these big rounds. If they were jumping the parachutes that we're jumping, there's no way anyone's shooting them, bro.
Yeah.
Like, they're too fast and nimble for that shit.
It's obviously with every sport, like any other sport, over time, shit's gotten better. People have gotten better at it. I imagine skydiving's one of those things as well. Like with technology, I don't know. I guarantee your parachute's not made out of the same shit that was made out of 40 years ago.
No, exactly right. Like back in the day, like malfunctions were not common, but
more common.
Yeah, more common for sure. Where now they're like rare.
Is there a jump that you're like, nah, I won't do it?
In regards to skydiving sort of thing?
Or we'll ask skydiving first.
Like I said before, they're two different, very, very different things. Skydiving, base jumping.
But is there a skydive you wouldn't do? Because it's much of a muchness, really, because you do it in the similar conditions all the time.
Yeah. Like, there's jumps that are out of my skill level, as in, like, those formation jumps sort of thing, you know? Yes. There's, like, once tunnels come around in Australia, like, the skill level just, like, in a year just went from, like standards are just incredible. Like, now to the point where if you're not a tunnel instructor, or you're not just fucking waxing mega coinage, like, flying in tunnels... Like, you can't just skydive to get to the limit where it's at now.
Why do the tunnels cost so much?
Just because there's, like, 3 turbine engines to run them sort of thing. The maintenance and that sort of shit on these things. Like, it's just a lot of money. You're paying for, like, a coach for an hour as well. Yeah. You know, these guys want $300 an hour to be coached by them as well, you know, because these are the elite of the elite sort of, you know, people. So that's where it costs a lot of money.
Who's, like, the best who's, like, universally known as the best? What is the best skydiver? Just the biggest psycho?
Just the most skillful sort of person.
The cleanest.
Yeah.
And is that like, is formation skydiving probably the hardest thing to do?
For sure. Like I said, there's belly, head up, head down, and then there's like movement jumps, which is any other angle which is in between that. So we might like go off a jump on an angle, flip it to head up, move it head up, flip it to head down and move, you know, but I don't know, Australia, there's the Mason Corby down under Dynamic. Shout out. He's like, you know, put me through a lot of training. Fuck, he's a fucking wizard, man.
And but there is a lot of base jumps and shit you obviously wouldn't do yet.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, big time. Yeah.
Is there one that's notorious for fucking people up?
Well, it's like a big skill level, you know. You start off with kind of slick, like nose suits, and then you can go to like a two-piece suit, which is like a rain jacket, you know, sort
this
of thing.
This is wingsuiting you're talking about?
No, this is just base jumping, right? So there's a progression to get up there. I've never actually technically wingsuit base jumped as of yet.
That's like...
The suits that you see me flying are kind of still technically tracking suits, which you've worked your way up. Because my arms are still free when I'm doing these jumps. The suit I'm jumping is called a onesie. We can jump with your arms out, get nice and stable, and when everything's like nice and okay, once those arms come out, the big wing starts to inflate, your legs inflate, and that's when that movement starts to happen.
Is that like next level shit? How long are you doing that for?
All depends on how high you jump from, you know, like, but the jumps are usually like anywhere from like 15 seconds to 40 seconds sort of thing, you know.
Those
like,
motherfuckers that will go through holes and shit. Bro. Oh, bro, there's so little margin for error.
At the start, I was like, you know, once I first started finding out about base jumping and stuff, and I was like, well, that's my life dream. I'm going to wingsuit base jump one day. You know, that was a goal. Everyone's like, I want to have a nice family. I want to buy a house. I'm like, I want to go wingsuit base jumping, man. And it was so hard to, like, you know, grasp my head around that for a while, you know, and still is today, really, you know. I had to sacrifice a lot of things to get where I was at, you know, to be able to go and travel to all these places all the time, you know. It's like, it's working throughout the week to make money. It's working weekends doing tandems, like to stack up coins so we can, you know, spend it all on flights to go overseas.
Yeah, it sounds like it would be an expensive love to have. Mm-hmm. But you haven't base suit wing jumped yet.
Not wingsuit base jumped yet.
But you do both separately.
Yeah.
Is that like the ultimate in the kind of whatever kind of, is it aero sports or whatever you would call them?
Yeah.
Is that like...
Well, like base jump is the most gnarliest thing, like, you know, like...
As soon as I see a video with Red Bull on it and a wingsuit, I'm fucking locked in, dude. Because I don't know what they fucking feed these cunts that they put in those videos, but some of them are just so gnarly.
Oh, you don't get that helmet unless you're the biz brother.
That would definitely be the biggest accolade to be like a Red Bull sponsored base jumper or wingsuit athlete. Like, you'd have to be so fucking fit to move that. Is there a lot of like force on your body in it?
For sure, yeah. Yeah, big time. Like skydiving's hard because you're just like landing, packing, you know, long process. Yeah, long time in the plane. Like if I'm doing tandems, I'm like lifting every passenger up onto my knees, harnesses, literally like physically walking them out to the edge of the plane, holding their weight up. Flying these parachutes is hard work. You know, end of the day, you know, do 6, 7, 8 jumps, you're cooked, proper cooked. Yeah, it's hard work on the body for sure. Yeah, and then base, we're like hiking, you know, like every day you're hiking, you know, every jump you're hiking, you know, with some days like, if you want to jump a bridge, you know, you could be like, you got to park your car at the bottom in the bushes and you like hike to the top. So when you land, you can get your shit into that car as quick as possible and get out of there.
How tall can a fucking bridge be? There's probably some bridges in Europe.
Yeah, Europe. So like when I started, I actually did a course. It's called like Learn to Base Jump course, right? So it started by an Aussie, Dukes, who we used to jump around Australia back in the day, and then he started a course. So him and Sam Hardy started jumping, and they created this course. So, you know, they have a Learn to Base jump stuff. So you start in a bridge at Croatia, a place called Kamfanar. So you jump off this bridge. It's about, it's 125 metres. So
125 metres? I thought you were going to say feet.
Nah, so 125 metres, which is about 400-ish feet.
That's fucking
and
huge.
It's huge, but it's also like if you do nothing, you like impact in 5 seconds. It's not.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like it's not huge in the scheme of things. So you go there and you learn.
That's where wouldn't it be better to learn somewhere taller?
Yes and no, like because you learn by just getting what's called like a PCA, so it's pilot chute assist. They're holding onto your pilot chute and your bridle, which is the thing that deploys your pins in your parachute, right? So you throw a small parachute out the start. That then pulls your pins, pulls the lines and opens up your main parachute. So the best thing about starting on a bridge is If you have a 180, which is where your parachute opens back towards the object, if you're on a bridge, you can just like fly underneath the bridge, you know, so it's a safe reason. So, and the reasons 180s happen is either like poor packing or poor body position when you exit, right? Which is probably going to happen when you start learning to base jump because you've never done it before, right? So start on a bridge, they'll PCA you off, get used to the jump, get nice and stable, and then after a while you can go handheld, which is pilot chute in your hand ready to go, jump off, wait, throw, open the parachute that way, and then you work your way up after a few days of getting good at that, and then you can go stowed, which is in the pouch, POC at the bottom, jump, reach, pull, and then you start doing that yourself, you know. But that's a super scary jump, is, you know, because you're like, if I don't jump and I don't get stable and I don't reach back, I've got 5 seconds and it's all over.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, that's why they try and do as many skydives as you can before you start these.
You're fucking dying hitting water at that height, aren't you?
Oh, no, it's over land. So
it's over land. It's a bridge over land.
Yeah, it's a land bridge, yeah. So that, yeah. Oh, for
they
water,
throw you in the deep end straight away, eh?
Yeah, instantly.
Jesus Christ.
So the learn to base jumps are a 3-phase course. So start in Croatia, you do a couple of days there, you know, get maybe 20 jumps, 30 jumps off this bridge. Once they're all cool, we all get in the cars and vans and we drive to Italy, a place called Monte Brento. And this is the most common place for people to do their first ever cliff exit. Like a massive cliff, super overhung, right? So
there's less chance of you hitting.
Chance of you hitting that object, and it's like, again, it's like 16 seconds. We call it a rock drop. So if you throw a rock off, 16 seconds till it hits the talus. So you've probably got about half of that to be able to get off and get flying, you know, before you need to be able to deploy your parachute, you know. So super safe.
That's fuck all.
It's fuck all. Yeah, but it's like, obviously it's the biggest
the
in the
rush
world.
would be wild,
sure.
but like, I mean more so for the reaction timing. You'd need to not get caught up in the moment. So, like, it would be so easy to be like, oh, fuck, and then be like 2 seconds late.
Yes and no. You're so fucking scared. Like, everything in your whole entire body, internal, like, does not even want you to walk up to that cliff. So you're so scared. It's so hard to overcook it. It's like everyone undercooked.
Do you find it better to just fucking run and jump? Or if you stand there and kind of look, are you like, fuck?
Like, kind of when I was learning, I was like, who wants to go next? I'm like, yep. You know, trying to get off, because once you get it done, you don't have to stand up there thinking about it. But like, now I'm experienced. It's like, cool, I'll get off, or I'll just get up there and I'll watch what the vibe is. I'll watch everyone go. It's nice to send your friends off first, because they'll check the weather, they'll check the conditions. You can watch them fly their parachute and they're getting drift. You're like, oh, cool, I'll fly a bit left. They're like a flying windsock for you. So it's nice to get up and just watch people cook a few, so you can try and figure it out before they do it.
See if shit goes wrong.
For sure, yeah. It's good to get up there and go, oh, bro, you good? You're good to go? Yeah, fucking send it, brother. So you're like, always watch your mates get off first, for sure.
Yeah, that's fucking... And so what was the first time wingsuiting? That would be fucking... What would you say is a bit crazier, wingsuiting or base jumping?
Like...
In both different vibes?
Yeah, like, so obviously, like, wingsuiting in the base environment is still base jumping, you know, for sure. Like, and that's the most hardcore, gnarliest, deadliest form of the base jumping kind of thing, you know. Wingsuit skydiving, there's still an art to that for sure, but we're still skydiving, you know, so relatively safer from that massive high altitude, kind of like I talked about before. But wingsuit base is gnarly.
How fast do you go in a wingsuit?
All depends on pitch and speed. You can, like, obviously dive them down. Everything the plane can do, you can do in a wingsuit, you know. So you can, like, if you've got heaps of altitude, and these guys who are flying terrain, they'll get off super high, generate a lot of speed, and then they start attacking these terrain flights, you know. And what people don't know, who just watch those jumps of people just flying a metre off the ground, they've actually got so much energy built up from diving down that most of the time, if shit starts to get hairy, they can just sort of open up and fly away from the terrain straight away.
I didn't know that they could even go that close.
Yeah. Oh, these guys are like trimming trees, you know, like, yeah, proper trimming trees, you know.
No
like,
shit. How long can they fly for?
Depends how long the jump is, you know. If they're doing high high terrain jumps where they've hiked or got helicopters up for like hours and hours and hours, you know, some of these jumps can go for minutes long, of like people flying like terrain, like on the deck, meters off the ground.
That'd be the weirdest feeling.
I feel like it could not be.
You're a bird.
It can't be any better, because the thing with base jumping is, like, everyone starts, there's a small period when you start where it's like quite dangerous, you know, because you don't know what you're doing, and you start to get kind of competent at it, and you're like, yeah, time to send, you know. And then there's a bit of a danger zone, and then after a while, you just see so many like accidents, and you realize it's actually quite difficult. And then you go safe for a while, and then like that's kind of where the point that I'm at now, where I'm just like, I've met a lot of people who've died now. I haven't seen anything firsthand, you know, but I've had beers with people at the pub and then find out the next day that they didn't make it down from their jump, you know, which is fucked, man. Super fucked. But then that goes to that phase where people start getting into the wingsuiting, where you take it super easy, and then they get really good at wingsuit base jumping, you know, and then that's kind of where most of the fatalities happen that I see, is at the highest level of their sport. So you imagine the best footy player, the best...
It's because they're the ones pushing the envelope, obviously.
And they're just so comfortable flying like through rocks and through trees, where that becomes a little bit of a norm. You know, you get a little bit comfortable like flying next to that shit. So instead of just like easing into it, the next jump, they're just like straight into the train, you know. And then if there's like any issues that pop up or arise, or wind conditions that they weren't aware of, or there's sun on a rock that there wasn't used to be, or shade in a spot that they used to be able to get lift from, if those things aren't right, see you later. There's no second chances in this game, man.
Dude, that's fucking... Do you know what's wild? You'd know you're going to die for like 5 seconds before you died, because you'd be like, oh, I'm going to die now.
Some of them I'm sure would know for like probably even longer. Some would not. Go around the corner, boom, like instantly out.
That would be better than fuck, because I imagine a lot of them would... Because they're obviously the best at what they do, they would be like, oh, this isn't going how it was last time.
For sure.
And as soon as you start thinking that, you're probably fucked.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos that I posted just from like Norway. Just
was that the...
It's the one you were talking before, where the terrain just comes up super instantly, right? So this is the jump where like a lot of us went onto. Like it's a pretty gnarly one, 3.5. And
3.5?
That's just... They're all numbered from numbers, you know.
On hardness?
Nah, kind of just up the valley sort of thing of where they go. So I'd done a heap of jumps in Norway, in Lisa Botten, you know, worked my way up to this jump, cool, feeling confident. Like all my other jumps are going super well. Get off the first time, and it was like not too bad. And I fly out of the valley and stuff. I was like, whoa, you know, like definitely seen for the first time, like terrain in my like peripherals, you know. I was like, fuck yeah. Didn't fly my best on that one, you know, like scared like for the start of the flight, you know, you see you jump off and there's just a wall right next to my face, like instantly, as soon as you jump off, to the point where you're like, you feel like you don't want to bring your arms back just yet because you feel like you're going to punch the wall, it looks that close. So once you get going, arms come back, suit inflates, boom, go time. So the first one didn't do like my best flight. I was like, cool, I'll go up again, I'll have a way better flight, I'll cruise around the edge of the cliff and I'll fly a bit of rock terrain around the left. It's going to be sick. There's no way I'm going to fly worse than my first time, right? Yeah. We always try and keep a bit of margin. If I have a shit exit, have a shit start, have a shit flight, I still got enough height to fly out, you know. Let's not put ourselves in the shithole right this soon. So go up the second time, way more confident, you know, feeling way more competent. All my friends are there, like sweet. Jump off, and I just kind of have my legs a little bit like cross-eyed a little bit for a while, and I'm just waiting till I can build up some speed to get my arms back. And by the time I get my arms back, I'm fucking deep in the muck, man. Like, I'm just like, oh, fuck. Like, stretch every single fiber of my body, man. Like, I'm like spreading my fingers to try and get a little bit more terrain. I'm like stretching like my head up and everything because I can see the ledge of that cliff and it looks pretty hairy to me, you know? So there's a good like 10 seconds where I'm just stretching everything I had, head down because that's the best position to go, eyes just looking through the top of the helmet. For about 10 seconds, I was like, not too sure how this one's going to go here, and just stretch everything I could. And then, like, as soon as I, like, got some speed, the suit picked up, started flying, and I flew my way out. And I was just like, I remember I landed. Usually I land and I go, fucking yeah, that was awesome. I remember on the video, I open it up and I go, oh, fuck. That was a bit odd, you know? So I never went back to the jump. We'll maybe wait for next year.
Yeah, that fucking... Dude, it makes my hands are so fucking sweaty right now. If you can fucking wait, if you can see that, my hands are like sweating. It's insane. And would you see yourself as like a thrill seeker? Do you bungee jump and shit?
I went to, where is it? Queensland. I had about probably 300 skydives before I bungeed.
Bungee seems like it's just unnecessary.
Bungee was fucking scary, bro. At least if I'm skydiving, man, I've packed my own parachute. I'm well within my skill level. So I went there and did like the unlimited package in the bungee. So we went and unlimited. You can just go as much as you can. So I ended up doing 10 bungees in the day. But I get up to the top, and I'm like, we're there super early in the morning because we've like got all our luggage, there. We get up there, the dude's just got he's got his coffee and stuff. He's opening up, he's getting the harness. He's like, all right, man, let's go for it. I was like, fuck, man, I'm not a morning person and neither are you. He's like strapping my legs up, ready to go. And he's just like so low. I was just like, oh, fucking hell. It looks like I'm about to jump into the bar here. So get off and jump and you just get that massive ground rush instantly. So like it's fucking scary as, you know. Skydiving.
Did it hurt?
Not really, nah.
I imagine it wouldn't be good for people if you had like bad limbs,
Nah,
like sore legs
not.
or fucking. I've always said skydiving looks way less terrifying than bungee jumping
For
to
sure.
me.
We're so high that even when people say, I can't skydive, I'm scared of heights, I'm like, nah, your excuse is not good enough because we're so high, you don't get that gut drop. You don't get that gut drop. You don't get the ground rush. We're so high that the earth barely even looks like it's coming closer to you because we're so high up there, you know? So it's just like a whole 60 seconds of like, what the fuck's happening? It's not I'm scared.
More of a Ferris wheel than a fucking roller coaster.
Yeah.
Like, because I know...
What was the fucking... one in Adelaide back in the day, the fucking mouse.
Mad Mouse. They used to fucking kill people and shit.
Dude.
I went on this ride in Japan. It was called the Flying Dinosaur at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
And me and my missus ran there and we were like, we'll go on this one. And then as soon as we seen it, we were like, oh, fuck. It was fucked. You lay flat.
Oh, yeah, like a
and
luge.
you look down. Like you're like there's nothing like so you're strapped in but you're laying flat like a bird.
Canyon swing, yeah.
And it was fucked. The canyon swinging is another thing. I don't think I'd be able to do that.
Do you ever, like, you're SA boy, remember that place that used to be, like, across the road from, like, Mick O'Shea's or whatever? That used to be that old fucking sketchy-ass thing up on the hill at the end of the, like, expressway.
Mick O'Shea's?
Yeah, it used to be, like, up on the hill across the road. So it was, like, this old luge thing that was on this metal track.
The luge.
Remember, I just thought about that the other day for some reason. I don't know, I was talking to someone. I remember that. I was like, that was
what was the one at Noarlunga?
Oh,
there was a water slide at Noarlunga. Was it fucking the Big Splash?
Something gnarly, man.
Oh, it was fucked. And then there was Green Hills.
Yeah.
Green
It used
Hills
to be like
Adventure
Puzzle Park and Murray Bridge, man.
Puzzle Park.
That thing was cooked, that big man round thing. You'd get in there with all your mates and you'd roll that around, right? That's a little hot tip, boys. If anyone's listening to this, that thing's still there.
What is? Is it?
Yeah.
Wait. In Murray Bridge?
Yeah, bruh.
I want to steal it and put it in the...
We've talked about it, man, because our drop zone where I grew up was in
How big is it?
Oh, like it's bigger than the studio, man. It's massive, man. This thing would have smashed so many kids' teeth out. It's still there. So if you go to the pub that's there, fucking blanking, whatever it's called.
Murray Bridge pub.
Yeah, the one that's near the freeway, right? So if you go out the back there, like all the old slides of whatever, it's all still there. Everything's all fallen down, but it's still all there. So we went in after a few little Sherbies one night. We went and just checked it out, and all the shit's still there. All the fucking race tracks that, you know, just cut people's fingers off, they're all still there. So all the old rusty slides are all still there. So
like people in your community. Actually, that's a hot tip. I might make a YouTube video. Whoever wants to come up there with me, and we'll go on it and fuck each other up.
Yeah, sounds
Let
good.
me know.
I'm down. Let's do it.
You would. So are people in your line of hobby and work fucking crazy?
Nah,
like a lot of, or level-headed lot of them, or
most of them are super switched on.
Not heaps of tism in the skydiving
not really.
community.
They sort of don't last because it takes so much dedication and time to learn, you know. Like if you're a bit of a fucking tripper, you kind of get... It's such a big family of all these drop zones, man. You rock up and people don't want to leave because it's community, it's camaraderie.
It's not like no one's like it's not like other sports where say people like be jealous or like everyone's kind of uplifting and
yeah, it's massive. And I reckon that's why most people skydive, because it's like, you know,
it's the same as the rock climbing community. I imagine the community's actually rock climbing, depending what form of rock climbing, there's definitely some tism in there
for sure.
But like I imagine the rock climbing community is very similar.
Dude,
you don't want it, because if you see people fail, they're gonna fucking die.
Yeah, you don't want that.
It's not like, oh, I'm going to beat them at a tournament. It's like, oh, if this cunt fails, he's not going to be alive anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone's very uplifting, and if someone's a bit of a wanker, we try and fix it. And then, like, if they're unfixable, like, we're never going to kick anyone out or whatever, you know, but it ends up just not being their place and they just don't come back. It's so hard to continue in skydiving. It's so expensive. It's so disciplined, so hard. If you're not in the camaraderie ship and that sort of stuff, it doesn't seem to happen. And when I started, that was the biggest blowout, you know, like I was young lad, partier, you know, used to spend my money going to town or hanging out and stuff, to now spending all my money skydiving. And I'd rock up and
Dude, you've seen some of the fucking coolest places. You've seen places of the world that people that travel the world will never see.
For sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because if I've travelled a fucking heap, I would still never... If we went to the same country, it'd be a totally different experience. Because you'd see the country of it.
Yeah, you don't get to go to the places where you go when we go jumping, you know, the top of these mountains and cliffs, you know, it's wild. But I was just getting out there, just when I started, man, I'd be on a load and there'd be like brain surgeons, doctors, lawyers, you know,
Really?
teachers. There's like so many switched on people there, and you're like, oh, who am I? I'm this little drop kick kid that's just like, you know, like trying to find my way. And, you know, I'd be jumping with all these sort of different people, and we'd all jump down from the jump, and like, and this dude, doesn't matter who you are, you can come down, you debrief your jump, you work out how you're going to get better on the next one, you know. And then like when I became an instructor, I would like take people, I'd be like, I always like to ask us, like, what do? You just skateboard, do you surf, do you ride bikes? Because I try and work out if they're any good at sort of life before we go for jumpings. Like, oh, what do you do for fun? You're like, oh, I'm a brain surgeon. Oh, sweet, no, it's
No
cool, let's go.
shit.
Like, I'll still go and teach them the same way, you know, like, and I get to teach you something. It's fucking rad.
What's the legalities of, like, where you're allowed to land? You have to land in the drop zone. You can't just fucking... like, or can it be, like, a pre-organised thing?
Yeah, like, we can apply for demos. I've done demos, like...
You land me out the pub?
Yeah, we've jumped into the Welly quite often. You jump into the Wellington pub.
What one down south could you do?
Don't know. Like,
Really?
as long as we had like a massive landing area and it was kind of like approved, so like safe sort of area, we can apply for like a display rating. Each jumper on there, we all get like display ratings ourselves, so we're up to date with all these places. But like
Yank.
Langhorn Creek, where we jump there, now the bend's open. We quite often jump people into the race course for races, and then they get down, jump in a Mustang, go for a burn, you know, all part of the package.
Have you ever done any big events like the footy or anything like that?
Not the footy, nothing sort of like that, but just doing like local pubs and that sort of shit like that, you know, been to the bend, you know. We were supposed to go there for the drag race grand opening. So
That'd be sick.
Dude, it was like, so we rocked up there the day before, we went and checked everything out. And they wanted to let us to land on the burnout pad, right? Which is this tiny little concrete circle.
That would be stressful as well, eh?
Dude, it was
because obviously you're not only performing, like, because you said before that performing formations was hard.
Yeah.
Performing something like that because you're getting paid to do it makes it even more stressful,
Yeah.
I imagine.
And when we went and checked out the race course, you know, like it was where there wasn't any cars there. So we're like, oh, there's an out, there's a land, there's an out to land. And you're like jumping in this massive dome, which is now like constricting all the winds that we need to land into as well. So I was like, we get there, I was like, this will be sick. They're gonna broadcast it. There's gonna be like 30,000 people. This would be sick. And then we rock up there like the day of it, and we go and check it out, and there's people everywhere. Every car park's full. There's no outs. There's nowhere else to go. It's windy as fuck.
So
and
like you're making it or you're fucking knocking someone out.
Oh, it's like, we're going to be on TV, big time, not having a good time. And I was like, nah, I've got it in the bag. Like, you got to be confident in this shit. I've got it in the bag. And we get there, and the wind picks up to the point where, like, me and my mates were, like, in this little bit where it's, like, where we're supposed to land. It was so windy, we were all, like, opening our jackets, like, leaning into the wind, going, yeah, mate, I reckon she's good to go. So we ended up having to cancel that weekend, unfortunately, just because it was way too windy to get it done. But,
No shit. That fucking...
But it was right. I went and jumped on my Harley and went for a fucking...
I was going to say, you fucking have like a massive passion for motorbikes as well, eh?
Yeah, for sure. Yep. I inherited a couple of motorbikes from my old boy, so he was right into it. Right through, I was going through my skydive journey, so he was into his Harleys and stuff, and built this sporty, like specifically for like the bend dragway. And then just before I went to Europe to go for my first base trip, fucking get a call that, oh, fucking old man's fucking had a heart attack. Went to his house and fucking seen him laying on the front lawn. So unfortunately, he never got to go drag that bike down the trip. Never got to go for tandem with me, which he said, like, when you get your tandem rating, I'll come for a tandem with you, and it'll be sick. Never got to do that. So when the Tailem Bend drag strip opened, went and grabbed that fucking bike out the shed and like fucking booked up for the first drag pick ever. And I just remember just sitting on that start line. Had some mates there.
So you do drags?
Yeah, when the drag, I've done it once, man. Yeah, so I've ridden I'd only just ridden that bike a few times.
That stresses me out just as much as fucking skydiving, dude.
It scared the fuck out of me. So we were just on the drag strip, the first ever event, the Harley Davidson booked.
I remember it. That would have been 2 years?
Oh, not even that, man.
A year and a bit ago?
Oh, yeah, about a year ago.
It was last year, mid-year.
Yeah, and it was the first thing because it was supposed to be that grand opening we were supposed to jump into. I was like, sick, I'm going to jump into it. And then at Harley Davidson for one of their 40-year anniversary or whatever, they're like, oh, we're actually going to hire the track out for everyone to come and run their Harleys down it and shit. My mate called me up, was like, time to go, big boy. It's time to do it. So chucked all the bikes on the strip, and I've only had this bike for a couple of weeks, because hadn't ridden this one. Got a couple of other Harleys as well that I've been riding, but only for a year or two, so still pretty fresh on the scene. Took the bike out there, had to borrow a pair of leathers off some dude in the car park because they wouldn't let me race in my jeans.
Really?
Yeah, and just went for a full boy, and we ended up getting 3 laps in it, and it was fucking incredible.
That'd be terrifying.
Stands full noise, just had this thing pinned, head down,
That was a big event.
Big event, man. First time ever, so just these things where I was got there and I'm nervous, I'm I don't know if I should do this, and it's I just have to have that mentality. I was fuck it, let's go.
It's so weird how I don't have it in me, but a lot of people have this fucking love for speed. And I just did a podcast with this dude, Seamus. He's from Might Die Productions. He does heaps of Summernats videos and just funny videos and heaps of car and motorbike videos. He's a weapon on a motorbike.
Cool.
And just talking to him, I was like, fuck, you're anything that goes fast, he just has a love for. And it sounds like you got that same thing. I just don't have that in me.
For sure. I don't even know if I have a love for those sort of things. I just want to experience everything. I just want to do it, I'm scared of base jumping. I'm scared of riding those bikes, but it's just on the other side of the fear, it's just so much fun, And once I do it, I'm just fucking so happy, and I enjoy that sort of situation. I just want to experience as much as possible, So if anyone wants to do anything, hit me up. Let's fucking go.
You're the dude that's you wouldn't, and then you take it to the next level.
Yeah, for sure. I don't have a massive history in riding, but it was good because I met a couple of my mates. Met this dude, and we were walking through Coles and stuff. Brody, shout outs, brother. Walked through Coles and we both stopped and looked at each other. I was like, oh, where do I know you from? He's like, oh, man, did you ride motocross? I'm like, nah, man. He's like, oh, I skydive. He's like, oh, yeah, my old man used to skydive. I've done a few back in the day. I said, oh, we've got a big event this weekend, man. If you want to come out, come kick it with the boys, see if you're interested. And he rocked up. So we started hanging out, having a bit of a party. And after that, he got back into skydiving. That's when I got on the bikes, and him and his family all ride motocross. Shout out the Sheps. They all looked after me, so they teach me how to ride the bikes. I was teaching them how to skydive and stuff. So we had just a nice little relationship there. So we both got to learn from professionals in the game. So
if people want to actually go because you're based in the south,
yeah.
So if people actually want to go skydiving in Adelaide, how much does it cost? Where the fuck do you go?
So right now, I jump at Leakenfield Winery in McLaren Vale. We take off from Aldinga. We do a nice scenic flight all down the coast. You get to see, all of the south. We do all the climbing up over the water. See Kangaroo Islands. It's fucking absolutely stunning. And then we land back at Richard Hamilton Winery in McLaren Vale, which is the most stunning place to land there. Manicured lawns. Land, all your friends can sit on this beautiful grass out the front, having a wine while you jump, and then you'll land, get a voucher, go inside, have a feed and stuff. So that's stunning to do tandems. Langhorne Creek is another place. Like I say, skydiving, beautiful out there. Wine region, wineries everywhere as well. Jump over Lake Alexandrina, super stunning out there as well. You can go to Lower Light, Semaphore. There's lots of places to jump. There's a lot of different companies all trying to put their
Semaphore go over the water, don't they?
Yeah, over the water and jump on the beach. But that's a little bit more takeoff from the airport. Have to fly over things.
That's
it's
a day.
Bit more of a process for sure. And I have and do work for sort of everyone. Whenever they need an extra person on my day off, they give me a call and I'll come and jump, So I've jumped everywhere, love everyone, it's all love,
Yeah, I just I want to do it now that I've fucking talked to you, but because I think it would make a hilarious video.
We could do something pretty cool, man. We could definitely tee something up.
We'll tee something up.
You can either jump 10, 12 or 15,000 feet, so 3 different heights. And
you said there's about 20 seconds in it?
Yeah, so
from 10 to 15.
25, 45 a minute. So that's the difference.
And you want to do it if you're going to do it, I guess you want to just fucking do it.
Just go it, yeah. You get because then you got more time for your brain to catch up, and you're looking about $300, $400 and $500.
Can you go backwards?
We can do flip out the plane, but you need to go belly to earth to free fall. Yeah.
But like, so you can't like roll off the plane backwards?
Yeah. We can exit. Yeah.
Because I feel like looking out of... I think looking out of the door would be what fucking freaks me out.
So we'll sit on the door. Like, so I sit literally on the door. So I'm hanging on. And because you're strapped on, you're actually like hanging outside the plane at this time. So you're outside the plane. And this is where we stop because we got time, man. So I got the camera out. I'm like, yo, have a look. You know, give us a smile and a shuckers. And like most people are like, oh, fuck. You know, enjoy them. Head back and let's go. And if people are keen for it, I can like pop backwards, roll out a gainer, watch the plane go, flip it over and then stuff. And then... got to be belly to earth after a few seconds. If you come, I'm going to fuck shit up.
I'm going to cut off your parachute.
Yeah. Who's hooked him up?
Have people jumped out without parachutes before? And someone like give you one or something?
Like Travis Pastrana's done it.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, Travis Pastrana's done it back in the day. Jumped out. It was a Red Bull sort of promotion and stuff, you know. So like he had like a harness underneath his shorts. Got out, did a few flips, sculled a Red Bull, and they all run over and like fly over. And like hold on to him, hook this little harness up and hold on to him and shit. Like pretty famous sort of clip. That kind of made Travis Pastrana like blow up back in the day. Like he's like a motocross king, and he like blows up from doing a skydive. But he skydives, he base jumps. A lot of those like Nitro Circus boys have all started. Like,
I imagine those. Oh fuck! I imagine that every fucking time I do a podcast, dude. And I don't wipe them either. Every time I imagine like the motocross world, the climbing world, the fucking skydiving and base jumping world. I imagine they all kind of intertwine pretty well. A
little bit,
because you're all similar people, but kind of. I actually do know. I'd say motocross people are probably maniacs.
Oh, for sure, man. People think that I'm nuts for skydiving, man. I'm like, nah, man. Like,
did you listen to the episode I did with Darcy? Darcy Morris.
What was it about?
He's a freestyle motocross guru.
Oh, sure.
He's a freak, and it's like he's just a weapon, dude.
Yeah.
Just no fear on a bike. Like break both your legs, break both your collarbones. I'm back on the bike in fucking a month. Like
I think personally, people who flipping bikes, like they're actual psychopaths. You know, like jumping out of planes okay as long as everything doesn't go wrong, man. It's pretty low impact, pretty safe. You do like 10 jumps a day. You know, everything's all sweet. You know, I've been to like an event called like Funny Farm, and they had like, you know, Harry Bink. You had all those boys who had just started skydiving, so they all rocked up and they did a display. They're like flipping bikes. People like wake surfing on the pond underneath, you know, and then they had planes in the background doing aero things, and then like Harry and all those boys, they all started jumping at that time.
Australians so fucked, eh?
Cooked as fuck, man.
It's so weird. Like Australians are pretty loved worldwide in the skydiving, base jumping community. Is it just because of the respect factor of like, oh, you're a fucking menace?
For sure. Yeah, we're menaces. We can party. We can hang. We're not scared.
Every fucking where you go, because I don't like a lot of people haven't been around the world.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people
can't fathom, man. I've taken people for Tamdens, man. Not even fucking weird. This is the first time I've ever been in a plane. And they're like adults, bro. And you're like, are you serious, man?
Yeah, dude.
I've done 3,500 skydives now, right? So I've been 3,500 skydives, and I have traveled all over the fucking world. And I could not imagine not doing those things,
even if you've never left Adelaide. Like, at least just fucking leave Adelaide. Please. I know people that have never left Adelaide.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's nothing wrong with Adelaide. No. I'll die here. I love it here.
I fucking love it here, bro.
But if you've never been to the Sunshine Coast, or like, I've never been to, the only state I haven't been to is Darwin and Tasmania. They're the ones I want, but I've focused more on going overseas than travelling Australia, which is stupid in hindsight because Australia's got some fucking cool spots.
We can do Aussie a little bit later, you know? Like, if we're going to be here, you can travel around, go and do some shit. Or now, while we still can travel while the world's not fucking blowing each other up.
If you haven't been to fucking just anywhere, like...
If you haven't been to fucking Switzerland, go.
Really?
Switzerland's the best place in the world, for sure. Hands down.
Really?
Hands down, man. It's so stunning, man.
I imagine, is it exactly how you imagine it would be?
Yep. Yeah, place called Leinebrunnen, right? So this is where we like finish that course that I was telling you at the end. The last stage of the course is in Leinebrunnen. And you rock up, man, and this is valley with just rolling hills as far as you can see. There's like waterfalls from every direction. There's ice-capped mountains everywhere you go, man. Where like you can go there as a base jumper and you get a season's pass. So you can get a train like up one side or a gondola up the other side. You're hiking through the mountain, watching deer jump through. There's glacial springs to fill your water bottle up. you're like picking fresh raspberries and blueberries on the way to exit point, and you're just like, what is this shit, man? You like get on the ground, there's like tourists landing on the, like where you jump over the main valley, there's tourists walking down riding their bikes. So they're all like crowded around when you start jumping, you land, they give you an applause.
I imagine the people are fucking lovely over there as
so
well.
So beautiful, man. One day I landed, man, and there's this dude just walking past, walked up to us, goes, that was epic. Thanks for that adventure. Can I give you some money? We're like, well, no, we're not putting this on for a show, man. Like, you know, just enjoy it. He goes, buy you and all your mates some beer. And he just like opens his wallet and just chucks a handful of cash on the ground and walks off. I was like, all right, like rounded it all up. And it was like a couple $100 Aussie bucks, man. We went to the bar, the Horner, and just put it on the bar for all the base jumpers. Like, it was like, it's stunning, man. So stunning.
Yeah, that's like my affinity for Japan, dude. I fucking am obsessed with Japan.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Oh, like, have you been?
I haven't, but it's so high on my list, man.
Man, it's like you're going back in time and in the future at the same time. It's insane there. Like, it just I travel for food, so how you feel about jumping is probably how I feel about food.
Yeah.
And just being there was like, fuck. It's just insane. And just the people are so nice, and the architecture's wild, and they uphold tradition so well over there.
I guess super beautiful people, so friendly, so kind.
Oh man,
clean.
like I was in a bar. They got like their pubs over there are called izakayas, and it's like they'll have 6 seats only. You smoke inside, and they serve maybe 3 dishes, and a lot of them are like 500 years old.
Yeah, wow.
Same family.
So they do. They pass it down. You know, the next generation takes over. Like, isn't that the thing? Like, you know, if I get the job, that's your job.
That's their thing over there. But it works so well because, and it's just like you're going into this place and it's the same as it was 400 years ago. It might have fucking FPOS now, maybe. But I left my wallet there with, maybe like 1,500 Australian dollars in it. So fucking bit, like 35,000 yen or whatever it was.
Big baller.
And I had all my money on me for the whole trip. And this fucking Japanese person followed us out to like for a kilometre to give me back my wallet.
Killer.
And I was like, fuck, if that was at the Aussie Inn down the road.
Being the pokies on a baggie in a fucking half hour.
It would be gone in fucking 10 minutes. But it blows my mind that people have no like desire to, like, they don't have wanderlust.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy to me.
I want to go to Japan because I've got a Skyline.
I was going to say, do they have... Oh, you drift as well?
No, I don't drift. I got an old HR31, so it's like the 2-door R31 imported from Japan.
Oh, that'd be fucking a bit.
It's fucking nice. Yeah. So I bought it when I was super young.
You kept it?
Kept it, man.
You fucking kept it.
Kept it, right?
That's like keeping a fucking Bitcoin.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure. One of my mates, Chris, he had like a 4-door one. I used to go to like Gazanats and Malalar and stuff, and he would take that in me. I was like, "Fool, I'm getting one of these. I fucking love this car." Found the 2-door, like got it over from Queensland and stuff, and we just used to thrash it as kids, you know. Got lucky, got to the point where I was like moving a few houses, like tried to sell it to my mates for things. I'll give us $5,000. I'm sick of trailing it around to houses for after a while and stuff, and they're offering me low balls, so I was like, fuck it, I'll put it in the shed. So,
imagine the cunt that offered you $3,000, how Devo would be.
I still stir him up all the time. Steak have sucked him, brother.
If you just fucking went up $500 or gave me a carton, you would have been sitting on a fucking gold one. Original engine?
Yep.
Everything?
Yep.
How many Ks?
I think we're at 220 now or something. Like, it's pretty tight. Original paint, original everything, yeah.
No, they're fucking... Oh, dude, I have a love for Supras.
For sure.
I love Supras. And I looked at one the other... I was thinking the other... I was like, how much are Supras worth now?
40.
Oh, my... No, like 200.
Oh, yeah.
200 fucking... For a mint one.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, with low Ks original off its head... They're worth like 150, same as like GDRs and shit, like, and fucking Skylines. You can get them for like $250,000 fucking dollars.
Yep,
it's insane.
Yep. So we just had All Japan Day like the other weekend down at Glenelg. That's always a fucking rad day.
Do you go to car
events?
Yeah,
just go to a couple of little shows. Like, I don't drive a heap, so it just kind of just sits in the shed, you know. I just like to go out in the shed and fucking look at it.
Yeah.
work on it, hang out with the boys and
So
stuff.
is there not base jumping and shit in Japan? They got some fucking mountainous terrain, but I imagine they're very strict on it.
Yeah, that's not like really a Japan crew and stuff. Like I've seen videos of people going there with their rigs and jumping buildings and stuff, like full bandit and shit, man. But I wouldn't want to get caught there.
Oh, dude, they do not fuck around over there.
Nah, like, and that's why we're talking like going to Japan. Like I'd love to go there for the car scene, the car meets on a holiday and that sort of stuff. But the whole reason we haven't done that yet, like me and my mates, there's a few of us got cars, A86s, cruising. Whole reason we haven't got there yet, because we're just so deep in the base jumping phase. I'm like, I don't really want to go to a place I can't jump. You know, right now, I'll just save that Japan trip for a couple of years when I'm trying to wind it down a little bit. Start do some tourist shit then, but just for the next few years, full blown charge jump.
Where's next?
Fucking everything. It's crazy because I do that same course at Croatia, Italy, Switzerland every time you go there, because that's where the school goes, that's where everyone jumps and stuff.
Yeah.
And the better you get, the more jumps get opened. The bigger suit you got, the more jumps get opened. So I could go there like as many times as I want, and there's still just a plethora of places I can go and jump, you know. Like there's so much shit to do there that's just out of my skill level. And then if I manage to make it back there this year in a wingsuit, that'll just fucking open up.
Has anyone done the Grand Canyon?
I'm sure they have.
They would have to, eh?
Yeah, there must be exits there for sure.
That's a fucking big drop.
Yeah.
And I imagine
again, it's just the landing points, getting out. It's like a lot of jumps that's like if it's worth it sort of thing, you know. Like I'm sure it's been done, but it's not popular because it's probably not worth it.
Has anyone I'm sure people would have done it then. The base jump, that El Capitan where Alex Honnold, that would be pretty popular, wouldn't it?
Not anymore. It's super illegal now. Like
really?
I'm not sure if it's ever been legal, but they used to jump it back in the day.
But you can climb it.
You can climb it
with no parachute.
If you climb it with a parachute and you fall and deploy your parachute, you can get arrested. If you fall to your death, obviously you can't get arrested.
That's
but
funny as.
So they had a massive protest about it back in the day, about jumping off of it, about how they want to jump it. They want it legal. Some dude jumped, got chased by the rangers and drowned in the river trying to escape. So they were trying to protest that, like, look, you're making it worse for us. Let us jump. So they did a massive protest back in the day. Heaps of them will jump it off. But because they knew they were going to get arrested, right, when they got to the bottom, a lot of them borrowed gear, borrowed shitty parachutes, borrowed different systems because they knew all their shit was going to get taken away. And your rigs and shit are worth fucking mega coin. So this one chick jumps off, borrowed parachute. Like, usually it was like BOC, you know, like deploy from the bottom, but this one was like a leg deployment. She obviously wasn't comfortable with the gear in the middle of like a massive protest, news, rangers everywhere, just fucking fumbled the whole way to impact. Boom, right in front of everyone. So that kind of held the sport.
Yeah, that would fucking do it.
Fucking ruin the vibe, wouldn't it? So that kind of...
Imagine all the protesters like, oh.
They're like, you probably got a point.
Nah, she's alive.
You probably got a reason we probably shouldn't be here. So that probably
took
base jumping back probably 50 years, man. We're still looked like in most of the places as rebels, psychos, criminals and shit.
I just don't see how you can allow someone to free solo, but you can't allow someone to at least have a chance at not dying if they fall. Yeah. It just doesn't make sense to me.
This world doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's fucking strange. But I guess, I don't know. But I imagine the Middle East would be phenomenal to do it in, but it's just obviously a bit more hectic over there, like Turkey and shit. That would probably be amazing over there.
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah. I'm a bit unfamiliar, so I don't have an answer.
Oh, it's just fucking... It's so terrainous over there. Like, terrainous. I don't know what the fuck that is, but it's so mountainous. Yeah, it's so mountainous over there. But, yeah, just fucking... So... Imagine there's a protest below. That would be the fucking worst.
Yeah, man.
Have you seen anyone pass away?
Haven't seen it. No. Haven't seen it yet. No.
That would fucking that'd be a moment where it's like, oh.
Yeah, like I said before, I've met people who had beers at the bar and shit, and found out like a couple of weeks later and stuff. Horror stories. But a lot of people that I've met have passed away and stuff, but I haven't seen it personally.
Do you want me to get you another beer?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just give me 1 sec.
And like I said, there's like a lot of people that I've met and stuff, and like, but no one close to me. Yeah, it's a bit of a bit of a numbers game at some stage. Like last year, we went over with I think it was 9 SA jumpers. So 9 of us went over. A heap of people who did their first courses, did all these jumps, and we did a massive tour over all through Europe. Went to Greece. Jumped.
You did Greece?
Shipwreck Cove. Ever heard of the place?
No shit.
Yeah, jumped into Shipwreck Cove. Dude, that was fucking up there with like one of the best jumps I've done.
Really?
We're right on the top of this. We get up there really early. We kind of like not really allowed to do it, so we had to go check for
The
security
weather
guards and shit.
The air there's so nice.
Fuck, dude.
Does that play a big part in it? Like,
Weather's everything.
I imagine in Sweden the air would be fucking just...
Yeah, just stunning. They have like adiabatic and katabatic winds that run up and down the valley between the fjords and sort of like the ocean and that sort of stuff. So when we're doing all our base jumpers, it's either at night where it's cool, or we're getting up like super early in the morning, hiking sort of like semi in the dark to get to the exit point by sun up. And most of the places, you know, even the legal places like Switzerland, Italy, all these places, we do a couple of jumps in the morning. And then that's usually the day done sort of thing. Sometimes if you can hold off from the beers, you can get like an Arvo load in, you know, but you're on fucking holidays, man. A couple of loads in the morning, froths, get up early the next morning again.
So these trips get pretty loose.
Yeah.
They can, I guess it's just a group of the boys, isn't it, really?
Yeah, especially that one last year, you know, like 9 jumpers, everyone's girlfriends.
How many weeks do these go over?
My first season, I did 3 months in Europe. That one last year, we did probably...
fucking sounds like an expensive hobby, eh?
Yeah, just shy on, you know, maybe like 2 went over there. But like, there was so many of us when we went to Greece, man. We had like a villa to ourselves on the top of the mountain, you know. There was like fucking like... I don't know, there's probably like 15 of us staying at this villa pool over the top of looking all the Greece and stuff, and we were just like have a massive barbecue, spit roast out the front, everyone's in the pools and stuff, you're just like looking around, you're like fucking... Do you get sponsors or anything? Oh shit. This year is the first year that I actually have picked up a sponsor.
Really?
Yeah, so I was going to hold off from... I haven't told anyone this yet, because to go back for this year or potentially next year to go wingsuiting, I've just spent so much money, like you can imagine, everything I've got into this sport, just dedicated absolutely everything my whole life towards it so far. And to be able to afford to go back this year or next year, I was just like, fuck, if I'm going to go back, I want a wingsuit. So one of my mates has always been like a super big supporter and watching all my journey as we've gone through things. And when we were in Norway, he was always sending me all these cool messages like in support. And I remember just one day, just on the beers, I was like, look, man, like if I want to go back next year, I'm going to look up, see if I can find someone. I made that decision. I'm like, going to find someone that's going to sponsor me. Like I've just do all these jumps. Like you said, like not many people know what I'm doing. I'm going to find someone who wants to like help me out, because I feel like I'm very, you know, like unique, and someone will want to like, you know, jump on board. So I just swing him this text while I'm in Norway. I said, if I want to come back to next year, I want to pick up a sponsor, man. You're always been polite, positive towards my shit, if you'd be interested. And he's like, yeah, man, fucking 100%. All right, let's talk when we get back. If you're interested, I'm keen as. So I get back and like I send him this text message, and we're like, I'm written all these things. I'm like, oh, what I would do in return. I said, look, man, to go back, I need someone to buy me a wingsuit. Like that's the deal. And he's
how much are they?
Well, like $3,000 if you want to get a base model. All right, so that's just...
Do you want the base model though?
No, but like that's fine. Like the base model is fine.
That's good. It's
base,
just...
they're all the same suit, but then you can buy like extra like pockets, and you can buy extra like, you know, different fucking like foams for different styles, you know. So just all these add-ons, but like the base model is the suit sort of thing, right? And then I said to him, I said, oh, if you want to come on board, now they offer like sponsorship sort of packages where they can put your brand name all over it. So they have to add all this add the printing front and back. And that's going to be like an extra 1,000 just for the printing. And then about, I think it was like €100 an hour for them to do the modeling. And anyway, so he's like, yeah, man, let's do it. I'm fucking on board. I'm like, bro, you don't actually like know how much it's going to be yet. He was just like straight out. He was just like, shit. I was like, do you think this is going to be $1,000 or whatever? He's like, what's the price? So, man, you're going to look at like fucking running up a total of like $5,500 by the time it gets here with your bro logo on it. It's like, bro, I'm keen to support you. I'm keen to jump on board.
To pay off your mortgage or something.
So here we go. So this is an exclusive. I was going to bring, because the suit's only a couple of weeks off. So I've been hanging like to write this post to like shout out my brother. So it's about, I just messaged him. So it's about 2 weeks off. It's an American brand. So I'll probably have it in about 3 weeks. So
this will come out mid next week, so it'll be about a week off,
about the same sort of time. So shout out to Jack O'Connell, so the crew at O'Connell Constructions. So man, he's jumped on board. He's been an absolute fucking savior, man. Absolute savior. He's a carpentry and construction business.
Do you know what we need to do? We need to get you another sponsor.
I'm keen as
to pay for a videographer to come with you.
Fucking keen as, man. Keen as.
And that sponsor's gonna be South Ave Seltzer.
Yeah.
South Ave fucking Seltzer.
Shout out
Reno
South
and
Ave.
Scotty.
Let's go, Reno, Scotty. Let's go.
pay for this man to video record him fucking flying through the air like a bird.
For sure.
That would be sick. Or just anyone in general.
Anyone that's listening, man, like it's like most of it's all tax write-off, you know, so help a brother out, try and get back there. I still need another like parachute and maybe like a container that's like, you know, compatible with like wingsuiting as well, you know.
Well,
there's
it's just
different
cool
styles
that
and
there's
shit,
South Aussies doing... Dude, until I started this podcast, I didn't realise the motherfuckers that lived in South Australia did.
Yeah, they're actually sending it, you know, just
Like,
heaps, man.
Just fucking like Darcy, the motocross dude I was talking to, and fucking Andrew Carpenter, the fucking lawyer that's locking away pedophiles around Australia
Mad
and
cunt,
shit,
mad cunt.
mad cunt. And then just heaps of fucking people that you'd never know would live in Adelaide.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking wild.
Super wild. And that's when I first
You
like...
just live down the fucking road
Down
and
the road,
you're
bro.
fucking in Norway fucking doing backflips in a wingsuit, cunt.
Yeah, yeah.
It's wild.
And it's so good, man. And I just love linking up with people like, you know, that like doing stuff, bro. That's why I like, as soon as you like jump on, and that's the best thing when I found out about your podcast and seeing all the dudes, you know, fucking arcade machines, you know, just SA shit, man. That's what it's like. As soon as I seen that, I was like, I'm getting on there. I'm hassling this dude. I'm getting on. I don't care.
You didn't even have to hassle us,
No,
did you?
yeah.
But you don't like it. I'll fucking do you know what though. I'm the same as you. That I'll try anything once, but I do it for different reasons. I'll do it because I don't want to be a pussy. Like if someone was like, oh, you wouldn't do that, I would only do it because I don't want to be a pussy.
Do you know how many times I've done shit and just went, hold my beer?
Exactly.
Oh, you fucking what? Yeah, for sure.
What's the worst, like, have you had a situation while you've been flying where you're like, oh, I'm going to die? Well, was that in the wingsuit when you were trying to get over that ledge? Was that about as close as it's come?
Probably the worst thing to happen is I broke my back skydiving.
Broke your back?
Yeah.
On the land?
Yeah, on the land. Yeah. So
Just landed too hard.
Yeah, like I went to this event, boogie, one of those boogies that we had, you know, and a week earlier I was at this party and I jumped down a set of stair steps and in the dark at my mate's party, and his old man had been setting out all this drainage shit and he had at the bottom of the stairs just setting out what he was going to put it, man. So I hit this fucking drain and just like folded my ankle in half, man. It's like instantly just purple and massive. It's like, fuck, we're going to boogie next weekend, man. Icing it all week and shit, and like my ankle was absolutely cooked, man. Like cannot jump, cooked. Went to the drop zone on crutches, and I was about to leave, you know, I just went, oh, fuck, I'll just like chuck my rig in the car, you know, just in case it comes good, you know. Fucking dumbest thing I've ever done, probably. So I get there, chilling out for a few days. It's like, it's kind of like my ankle's feeling a little bit better and stuff. It's just like, everyone's having a rad time. I was like, oh, fuck, if I go for a lob, right, I'll just come and slide into my ass and just lift my foot up. Like, I should be sweet, you know. Convince myself I'd be sweet. So I go for this jump, and we're last out the plane, me and Bria. We get so far away from the drop zone, and that we're like, still jumped out, but by the time we opened up, we're so far away from where we're supposed to land, like fucking heaps far. So instead of being like, the smart thing would be like just land out in a paddock into wind and make a safe landing. But because I couldn't walk, I was like, I'm flying home, baby. Like, got to get as close as possible as I can. So I get near the drop zone, go to cross the runway, get a bit of turbulence. Can't really turn around into wind anymore because I'm a bit low to do a turn. So I just take a downwinder, which is the wind behind you. So, you know, planes would land into wind. We do the same. Have the wind behind me and I come in just so fucking fast, man. Start freaking out, and like usually we use these big toggles to flare. So I grab on the rears and just try and trim myself out like a plane would just to make it a little bit better, and just got scared, pulled too much on them and just collapsed my parachute at maybe, you know, like 20 meters up in the air doing full speed, and just collapsed down, hit my ass.
20 meters?
Yeah, maybe a little bit less, but you know, that's when the...
Give or take 5 meters.
Yeah, that's when the parachute starts to like collapse. So I'm sinking down with no air. Hit the ground, bouncing down the road and shit. I was like, I was just fully winded on the ground, like trying to get some air in. Because I'm behind the drop zone, no one's kind of seen it happen. Try and take my rig off, try and get up. I can't really get up off the ground and shit. So just kind of wait there in the sun. Got ants and shit crawling over me. It was a shit show. And I finally seen the ute cruising down. Mate Lee comes over, he's like, oh mate, you're good. I was like, oh, fucking help me. So he comes over and picks me up and stuff and puts me in the back of the ute, just laying in the ute with him and his son in the back, takes me back to the drop zone, and like a couple of dudes check me over, shit, like, we'll take you to the hospital, like you look pretty bad and stuff. So the chick Bria that I'm jumping was a paramedic, come and check me out. She's like, absolutely fucking not, you're not leaving, call an ambo, get it here. And I was in the back of a car by now, so they've slid a little board in the back seat, put a pump up jacket around me, pumped it up so they could get me out. And this is the middle of the event, so everyone's coming out with their cameras and filming and shit. They give me the green whistle, man, and like, I don't know if you've ever, I don't know if you've had one of those green whistles. I was very susceptible for that green whistle.
Oh,
it turns
dude,
out, man.
if anyone's got any, I'll pay you top dollar for that motherfucker.
Let's go. We'll do another potty on one of those. Invite me for that one.
The green whistle.
I've got a few paramedic friends actually, so.
Oh, dude, that is
hook us up.
fucking wild.
So I'm laying on the board, man, just talking absolute fucking smack, man. And so good that all the paramedics were chilled. They're like, do you know how often we come here? And I just look them straight in the eyes. I'm like, do you know how fucking awesome we are? Absolutely fucking pickled, man. So they put me in the back of the ambo, and I kind of just wake up in like Adelaide at the things, and my mum's there, my missus is there at the point in time, my sister, and I kind of just woke up and come to. I was like, how you going? I'm like, no, I'm sweet. How are you? Get everything checked over, and it was like a couple of fucking vertebrae, one T12 and everything. It was just fucking stoved
Are you right
in and shit.
now?
I'm all sweet, yeah. So
How
everything
long
was all
was the
good.
rehab for that?
I kind of just laid in bed for probably about, I don't know, like 6 to 8 weeks.
That's not bad.
It's not bad, man. Yeah, pretty real
It
good.
sounds horrible, but that's not fucking bad.
It wasn't bad, man. I got real lucky for sure. Like, obviously, you can move a leg straight away. Everything was all sweet, no damage and stuff. So, like, was just laying back at mum's.
Spinals, because once you start getting to
I broke my back.
Yeah, I broke my
Spinal.
back.
So, it's all good. And then after about like 8-9 weeks, I was kind of just went boom. I'm sweet, walking around home. Everything's all good, man. So I kind
How
of
long
came
did it
good.
take you to? Did you have a little PTSD for your next landing?
Fuck. 13 weeks after my incident, I was back jumping. So I did
13.
Yeah. So I did a jump. I went out and jumped and had like a bit of a hard opening on my parachute. Just felt my spine go crack after laying in bed for so long. I landed, put my shit straight in the car and went fucking idiot and drove straight home.
Yeah.
Straight home. I was just like, you were dumb enough to jump to do it, and now you're dumb enough to go back into it. Because I was just so involved in the sport, man. All I wanted to do was jump. Laid in that bed for so long, gone, I just want to go back jumping.
You would have literally gotten in so many podcasts and shit while you were out for 6 to 8 weeks.
It's before, it was like, yeah, it was like, you know. It was
How
like,
long ago was this?
Probably like, I was only a couple of years in, so probably like 8 years ago, probably 7 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, no shit. And you only, when did you say you got into joke? We were talking off camera, so you're a massive podcast listener.
For sure, yep.
So
in my day-to-day time, I'm an excavator operator, operator 25-ton and things. So like all day, I'm in the seat, man. Super cushy machine. So I've always got something on the go, you know. So in the morning, I kind of do radio because I'm not a morning people person. I'm not ready to learn. And then probably
I can't
like
fucking do the radio anymore. Eh?
oh, it's just it's
It's
wank,
just
but I don't
dribbling
really
shit.
I don't really listen.
Just noise.
It's just noise, yeah. And then kind of like smoke at lunch. I'm hitting a podcast. Usually do a Joe Rogan or something, and then afternoon audio book sort of thing. So
we were talking off camera before, and I asked him what was his favourite Joe Rogan. Because if you didn't know, I'm a massive Joe Rogan dick rider. What is your favourite Joe Rogan podcast? And you said the
North Korean shit.
Naomi Park.
Like that was just off the top of the head because I remember that was the first one I just sat there and just like hardly even fucking did any work, man, for a couple of hours.
It's a wild
I just sat there and
story.
went, what the fuck? That's happening in this world right now, you know? Here's me going to the most beautiful places, enjoying myself, traveling wherever I want, and then there's people who can't eat.
You're just thinking, I wonder what the fucking base jumping's like in North Korea.
I could probably open some objects that no one's ever done there for sure.
But
sure.
that is a fucking wild story. Mine would have to be Alex Honnold.
Yeah, for sure.
Alex Honnold's just fucking tismed out to the gills, dude. His hands are fucking developed different to everyone else's.
Yeah, they just do those board trainings and stuff, just hanging off.
And any of the older podcasts with like Joey Diaz, are probably my favourite podcasts.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to think off the top of my head, man.
Do you listen to any other ones?
Just all sorts, like a bit of crime, bit of redemption, sort of those ones, you know,
Audio
like
books and shit.
Yeah, for sure. Just anything that's interested, and I love people who like chicks that are climbing Everest, chicks that are, you know, there's a couple of audio books and that sort of
Have you
shit.
done much climbing like that?
Not really, not too much climbing.
Does Everest interest you?
Not really. Like, I'd probably go to base camp if there's the chance and stuff, you know.
Do you know how much it costs to go to base camp?
I could generally base trips. I could go on for that sort of price.
I did. Someone told me the other day, and I was like, "That's fucking
how much is it?
Insane! It's like 30-40 grand to go to fucking base camp."
I waxed that in 3 months in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
I'd rather jump for 3 months and go and do that. But like, it'd be cool, but I'd just rather do a mountain that's cheaper.
Mountain climbing's like a weird. That's a like prehistoric thing in us that people love that shit because like it's just such a weird. Like you've climbed a mountain and people must just get the biggest prehistoric fucking deeply ingrained in us feeling.
Yeah.
It's like when you're sitting around a campfire.
Yeah.
With the boys and you're eating and shit and you
I climbed a bigger mountain, bro.
I bet you won't jump off that.
Hold my beer. Yeah, like it'd be cool, but like, man, some of the mountains that I've climbed, you know, like another thing when you're saying like about the climbing is like, I've done a couple of jumps off of the Mushroom. So this is off the north face of the Eiger in Switzerland, so the Swiss Alps. And this is probably like, it's probably one of the highest sort of altitude jumps that I've ever done. So it took me, you know, like I do a lot of training throughout like the winter leading up to the European summer before we go, you know, a lot of just like training through hiking, gym, that sort of stuff, just trying to keep myself some sort of fit just so I can get to these highest places because you want to get to the exit point as fit as possible, you know, because that's when the real work begins. If you get up there fatigued, fucked, it's really hard to then mentally perform and do that. You know, that process of pushing through.
How do you train for that? Do you just do a lot of cardio?
Yeah, just a bit of cardio, just hiking, you know, like in Meadows we do there's a big hike we do through like the dam there. It's really fucking cool. We go hike down, there's a big stair set and shit we do at the back. So this Eiger jump, this is another one where I've had like a bit of a sketchy moment, but it wasn't even jumping, it was on the hike, you know, so all the climb, there's a section where you actually have to use a bit of ropes. You're not clipped in, but it's because it's not a gnarly climb section and stuff, but I'm not a climber and it's like, it's pretty icy in certain scenarios. So I was probably maybe like 4 or 5 meters up, like trying to climb and slipped off like one of the rocks and shit, you know, so like, it wouldn't have killed me. It wouldn't have fell off the mountain, but it would have been a game over, hectic situation. You know, I'm a couple of hours into this hike already. You know, it would have been a heli ride out for sure. No good. And I've slipped and started to fall. And I've just managed to grab myself onto the rope, grab the rope and bash myself into the side of the cliff and stuff, and bust my ankle up pretty nice and stuff. And I managed to climb up and get everyone to help me with my gear, get to the top, and like my ankle was starting to swell up again. I was just like, fuck, man, like it's so much harder to go down than it is to go up. So I just like kept hiking, got all the way to the exit. And then the gnarliest about the jump is like, if anyone wants to look up the Mushroom on the Eiger, this massive rock that looks like it's not supposed to be there is hanging off the side of the north face of the Eiger. And it looks like a big massive mushroom, but to get over the cross of it, there's probably like a 4-meter cable, and you have to like probably, I don't know how high that be, like an 8,000 foot drop between there, right? So you get up there to this cable, grab onto the cable, shimmy your legs up over it, and you're like cable shimmying across this little cable to get to the Eiger, man. And that's probably more scary than the jump for sure.
Oh, dude.
And then you get over there, and then like you're over there with like 10 people, and everyone's just fucking rattled because they've had to do this little cable climb. And you get over there, and you're just starting to breathe, relax, and now you got to zip your suit up and like get ready to jump off this Eiger. But like, it's so high up, it's like a skydive, and there's like lots of levels with the terrain as it comes through. So if you get off and you're a good flyer, you can pass the levels, you know, and then you can keep flying. So I've jumped it twice. The first time was in a 2-piece suit, and I fully cooked my exit because it's high altitude. I didn't really have the airspeed. Kind of scorpioned a little bit, fly as good as I can, and deployed my parachute way early. And I was just like super devastated, you know, like just build this jump up for like years, massive hike, and had a bit of a shit show. And I managed to go back there last year in the onesie, bigger suit, you know, a lot more experience, jump off, fly a right lane, and just, you know, like 50 seconds just flying the north side of the Eiger in my suit, just flying down this terrain, opened up. And
how fast are you going? Would you estimate?
You could probably do between like, because it's a massive suit, a lot of glide, you're trying to get as far as you can without losing like vertical separate, like horizontal, vertical sort of separation. So you're trying to fly as fast as you can, but not speed wise, you know, so we're only doing anywhere from like 150 to like pretty 150.
Fucking quick.
Macking, yeah. So flying the things, and then like the thing with these suits are like right at the end, so you can get a nice like clean deployment. You got to like use your last a bit of inertia and your speed to start to like what we call flare. So you really start to lift the chin, lift everything, and use all that speed to come up, slow yourself down, and that's when all this suit starts to depressurize a little bit, and that's when you can reach around and start to deploy.
Do you know anyone that's done like they do like the jetpacks and shit in
Oh,
Saudi.
yeah. So I just got up to Dubai.
Yeah.
Fucking loose. They got
Have
so
you-
much money over
have-
there.
have
No,
you-
I don't know anyone that's done it and shit. But
That's not as that's
you got to
not
be,
a-
you got to be in with the princes and shit. Like that's their little protocol. You know, the princes like they pay for that sort of shit. You know,
that's fucking wild.
Imagine flying a jetpack next to the sky like an Emirates plane. You know, imagine how much Emirates would have dropped on that for that fucking thing. They're fucking.
Oh, and the I seen a video on the Instagram reels the other day of, I think it was the British Navy, and they were drilling or they were testing out like the fucking things you can put on your arms now, and like fucking Iron Man,
Yeah,
and fucking that looks like it's so fun.
it'd be cool.
But that looks like it would be so hard. Like, if you move your fucking arm the wrong way, you're going to fucking just spiral out.
Yeah, one of those jetpack dudes are now dead. Like
Already?
Yeah. yeah. So Vince and Fred, they were sponsored, like athletes and stuff, and they were brothers forever. And they were like flying terrain. They were exiting off of cliffs at one point, you know, and flying these terrains with these jetpacks. And one of them had a bit of a, yeah.
Do you have time for other hobbies and shit? You wouldn't have much
Well,
brain space for fucking, besides bikes and...
Yeah, bikes, cars, skydive base. That's pretty much. Oh, I got a few bonsais.
Bonsais?
Yeah.
Really?
You got to have a bit of a yin and the yang, you know?
Yeah, fuck, we went through an indoor plant phase.
Oh, yeah. It's fun. That's cool.
It's fucking one of your calmer, like, less deadly fucking...
Yeah, man.
Your missus, whenever she sees you on the bonsai tree, is like, thank fuck.
Yeah, man. Like, oh, it was only
How does she deal with it?
Fuck, man, she's cool, man. She's come over to like that last Euro trip. She's come over and watched a few things, you know. Like, I got to Yen and I waxed all my money and I had a big, massive, like, you know, phone bill because I'd left my phone on while I was over there. You know, I had $1,000 phone bill that came out, that was a bit of money I was like saving to come home. So it's just like, oh, I'll cover it. So not only does she support it, man, she financially covers me to go and fucking jump off of cliffs, you know, which is fucking massive. You know?
And you
like,
really need that because you can't have like a voice in your head of like, oh, she doesn't want me to do it, because that voice will take away from
for sure, yeah,
the focus on the actual fucking task at hand.
Yeah, for sure. Like my poor mother as well, man. She's had to deal with me as like an absolute grommet from partying and shit, and then like I have a bit of a background in like hip hop and making a bit of hip hop music and graffiti and that sort of shit back in the day and stuff. So like we just
What was your tag?
I was like either like Antics or Tonics or something like that down in Victor.
Fuck, you still good with a pen?
Not really.
We'll get you up on here.
Have a bit of a look somewhere. So we used to go out like fucking mumsy, man. Like I used to like, you know, I'd go out and I'd show mum my fucking paint palette before we'd go out and shit. And she'd be like, oh, that's a nice colour, you know. She'd come down to my room the next day and she's like, can I see the flicks, you know, of your artwork and shit? You know, it's
That's
just like,
fucking
fucking
hilarious.
hated me doing it, man. Like hated me doing it, but also supported like, at least you're doing some art out there, you know, not being a dickhead. Well, I was being a dickhead, but it was good, man. When I lived in Victor at mum's, I was so fucking blessed. She'd support me in everything that I did. I used to have a room, like 2-story house, and downstairs was just like one sort of like self-sufficient like room downstairs.
That's what I had at Hallett
It
Cove.
was fucking epic, dude.
Oh,
So
dude.
I'd have all the crew around there all the time. We'd have parties and stuff, and we had a fucking wooden spiral staircase that would come down from the top room, and we built this bookshelf, right? So this bookshelf at the top where you come through, and it was on like a bit of a pressure sensor, so it wouldn't open until you like pushed it a fair bit, and then it would pop open, and then like a spiral staircase down to this unknown room. And I used to like just fake everyone that you had to pull the right book for it to open, but all I was doing is as I was pulled the book, I was just pushing on the thing and it would open, and fucking mates would come around and they'd spend 20 minutes pulling on books trying to work out how to get down to this room, man. And then I started skydiving and she's like, fuck. And then like she came into the hospital and did my back, fuck. And I was like, Mum, I'm booked into a base course. Fuck. So every time I go to Europe, I go down to mum's, give her a special hug. Love you so much, you know, because like most of the time, like I'm pretty competent in my skills, man, but shit happens, man. People die.
Yeah.
So like I give her a hug and like she has to deal with the fact of knowing that like I might not come back from this base trip, but like.
But if you didn't do it, you'd be fucking miserable.
She watches me go to all the places I have, you know, like me and my brother are polar opposites, man. He plays PlayStation, does fuck all, you know, and then she just gets to see me just travel all over the world, live my life. She knows how happy I am, and she just always says like, oh, you live a good life, Vince, you know, you're having a good time, and fucking A.
Yeah. Well, fuck, I'll run it short tonight because it is a school night, but I'd be keen on you being a regular guest, man. You're
Fuck
fucking, that's some wild shit.
I've got heaps more shit.
I want to wear the wingsuit.
For sure. Yeah.
How do they specifically fit it to you? Obviously, everything's has to be
everything's
perfect.
Super custom. Yeah.
Perfect.
Super
but
custom, yeah.
So you'll be sponsored, you'll be going away. Anyone that wants to follow him on socials, it's Vince_Jarvis.
Yep, correct.
On all socials.
Yep.
Get him up there because fuck, dude, you got some wild videos on there.
For sure, man. And like I've been collecting like fucking videos content for forever, man, and I've got hard drives and shit full of it, but I've just never really been that too interested in like posting everything.
So
and now
interesting,
now it's becoming interesting, and like all those little videos that I make are just like tiny little snippets of some of the cooler jumps that I've done, and that's kind of just for me to remember, man, because I'll forget things I've done, and people are like, oh, remember this jump we did? I'm like, oh, no shit. Oh, that was pretty rad and shit, you know, unless I like put those little videos. So that kind of doing that just for me, just to remember these awesome times, you know. But like if people are interested and people start jumping on board and keen, man, I'll get these hard drives out and stuff, and I've got fucking heaps of shit to show you.
Yeah.
I've got heaps of shit, yeah.
I'm fucking keen to see, man. I really appreciate you coming on. That was
man.
fun as fuck.
Awesome, man. Thanks,
Thank
Sam.
you.
Appreciate it, brother.